Welcome back, all my Jedi apprentices and Sith acolytes. Welcome back to the retelling of a time where the Republic was embroiled in war. No, not the Clone Wars, or the Mandalorian Wars, or the Pirate War against the Nihil. No, we are firmly set in the Jedi Civil War, specifically the conflict around a certain Jedi turned Sith Lord, who then turned Jedi again by the name of Revan. Welcome to Talk About Tatooine. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
And we are twin brothers here to bring you what's new in nerddom and give colorful commentary on our favorite subjects. Welcome to our cantina, grab a drink, and settle in as we set course for realities beyond our own.
Welcome to episode 128, everybody. Today's recording date is September 19th, and this episode will be released on Monday, 9/22.
Last episode, we covered Revan's return to Republic space as a Sith Lord, his traumatic brain injury, escape from the Endar Spire, and his descent and then escape from the Ecumenopolis terrorists. At this point in the story, Revan has fled to Tatooine, where he is met with the Jedi Council there, who have bequeathed him a quest. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
They basically have to give Revan a list of errands to run around and see how he will react, because he doesn't have his memory yet. Revan is sent out to an estate where the Jedi have told him that there is a source of corruption, and that corruption was nothing more than a Cathar Jedi named Juhani.
Okay, that is putting it a little too mildly. The Cathar, Juhani, was actually undergoing a test from the Council, and her self-redemption was her way of passing. At this point in the story, Juhani acts as a skill check for the player character. Essentially, if you don't do enough side quests and gather enough XP, you lack the persuasion and Riz to bring Juhani back from the dark side, and she would attack you.
You know darn well I did not write Riz. I wrote charisma.
I wrote charisma. I'm trying to connect with the younger generation.
How are they going to know about Revan if I don't say Riz? As far as game mechanics, this was awesome because it rewarded players for playing the game. Jedi were the most powerful characters you could have in your party because they could use the Force, i.e., they all multi-classed as wizards. They could block ranged attacks and dominated in melee combat. They were so good. They were objectively better than the rest of your party. Having multiple Jedi in the early game was a huge reward because between Revan, Juhani, and Bastila, you were good to go.
Revan is able to later investigate the ruins on the planet and gets another vision, one of Revan and Malak searching for something. Young Malak comments on the dark side presence in the ruins, noting that the way has been sealed for a reason. This vision also includes Malak mentioning the Star Forge by name and the first step of the star maps to be located inside.
Right, because this is when Revan actually finds the star maps, and that's what starts you on your main quest. How many hours in do you think it takes you to get to this point in the game?
I mean, I would probably say it takes a couple hours to get through Terrace and Tatooine respectively, and so I would maybe say like 7. If you're like speed running everything. If you're doing every possible quest that's available to you, you could be closer to like 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah, I could maybe see someone speed running it in like less than 4, but like KOTOR is not a fast game. It's pacing.
There's no sprint option.
There's no sprint option. You have to read everything. It's not like games like Mass Effect where the player character's dialogue is voice acted by somebody. It's just you just click a line of text and then the other person immediately responds. And it was great for its time, but it would not hold up now.
Correct. And if you guys didn't know, this is a game where basically you're playing D&D without really realizing it because everything you do is based on a simulated dice roll. You just had to read and play math. That's essentially what KOTOR was. Please refer to our Patreon episode where we're talking about the importance of reading in today's episode.
Download the Libby app, not a sponsor, but also like reading is super cool and great. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, our next point in this story is Revan is tasked to find the star maps. This information is brought to the Council, the information of Revan's dream, and we start to see the Jedi catch up on Malak's plan. Something that is important to note here is that the events are moving fairly quickly in the universe, and Malak has basically just discovered the Star Forge at this point. So Revan, who still doesn't know he's Revan, essentially, is hot on his heels.
This is where our quest begins. This is where we go to find the rest of the star maps. That is step 1 in finding the Star Forge. Similar to the Night Sister orb that Ahsoka finds in season 1 and then uses it to find the pathway to Peridia, but in this case it is a giant space station that uses the power of a sun to copy-paste Star Destroyers. Super cool. Also, we get a fun bit of lore here. On the way back to his ship, Revan is stopped by a Twi'lek named Disra Lurjada, who warns the party that if they go out into the galaxy, they might encounter a creature known as a Terentatek. It is known for hunting Force sensitives, and that the Terentatek also likes to feed on the blood of Force-sensitive creatures. So that, okay, yeah, first off, metal. Let's go. The first thing that came to mind was like Voldemort hunched over the unicorn in the Forbidden Forest and just slurping out its blood.
Can you stop making so many guzzling sounds?
Who is making those mouth sounds? And it's like an 8-foot tall creature, and you're like, carry on. My mistake.
Ew.
Okay, the star maps that Revan is tasked with finding are on Dantooine, Tatooine, Manon, Korriban, and Kashyyyk. Do you pronounce it Kashyyyk or Kashyyyk?
I think technically it's Kashyyyk.
Okay. According to the official records, Tatooine was...
Kashyyyk!
No. Or as the Wookiees would say it... According to official records, Tatooine was the first stop on their journey for Revan after Dantooine. There were star maps to find and Sith to slay. The party enters Anchorhead City and begins looking around. He gains a hunting permit that allows him to look outside the city for the star map. Revan is such a dweeb. He's like, well, we better follow the rules so we can find this mass murdering machine. It's like, dude, past Revan would bully present Revan if he saw him. Like, dude, you asked for a permit. You have a lightsaber.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that gives you permit to do whatever you want. We argue against that in real life all the time. Be like, hey, you can't just abuse your power. But you're like, Revan, you're like, you should abuse your power. You really should.
In a town on a planet known for being a hive of scum and villainy, maybe don't listen to the corrupt government officials that are trying to, like, make you pay the fee.
So it is noted here in the story that the reason he has to get a hunting permit is because people are dying so often from going outside because the Dune Sea is so dangerous. I believe because of all the Tuskens running around. And you're going to run into a lot of them. If you play the dark side path here, which is not canonically how the story is played out, but it is a way to play the game out, you can kill so many sand people. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you sort of make Anakin's attempt at doing a mass murder on the Tuskens look pretty mild because you go into their massive conclaves and they are not able to stop you. It's actually kind of brutal because, like, it's like, dude, you broke into their home. Like, peace and negotiations wasn't even on the table. Like, Revan was like, but I have this lightsaber. Maybe I should go barging in the front door. But, like, again, it's a game. It's not real life, thankfully.
There are some pretty ironic instances with the Tuskens in this game, and the storyline, so be on the lookout for those, listener.
Side note, out of all the games that feature multiple planets, Tatooine is almost always one of them. Think back on how many Star Wars games feature Tatooine, which is just, it's kind of funny because Tatooine is the most boring planet. Like, Tatooine is featured because George Lucas ripped it from Dune, not because it's beautiful. Like, he's like, I think I need a planet to show the viewers that this place is hella boring and he needs to leave.
I have a poster in my office that says "Discover the beauty of the twin suns on Tatooine," and it's actually a pretty cool poster. But it's like it's an artist's interpretation of Tatooine. It actually reminds me more of Arrakis than it does Tatooine, but I don't care, and I like it. My wife recently got me Endor, I think, as well. So I need to get Hoth and put them up all on my wall.
Yeah, there are certain times of day that Tatooine is actually quite beautiful, but for the most part, it is a desolate wasteland. Not that beauty can't exist there, but for the most part, it's kind of boring. It doesn't have a lot of biodiversity.
Along the way, Revan is also stopped by a Duros named Desako, or Ku. Not entirely sure how it's pronounced because he speaks in Duros, and, well, that's not a real language. He asks for help from Revan. This is important because the Zerka Corporation, which you see a lot in this game, wants to do some light extermination of the Sand People, and Deso wants to resolve the issue peacefully. There are characters who actually seek peace in this universe. Zerka, you can basically, let's call them the IDF of this episode. He suggests to Revan that he goes to a local shop which currently has a protocol droid for sale, which is a huge mischaracterization of what droid is in that shop, because the droid that is able to communicate with the Tuskens is an HK unit, which just so happened to be his personal assassin droid from his days as a Sith Lord. The Force works in mysterious ways.
Revan buys the droids, leaves the shop, and encounters some dark Jedi. They basically ambush you in the streets of Anchorhead City. At this point, Bastila, Revan, and Karth have to kill these hide their faces with masks cowards and ultimately realize Malik is trying to cover his tracks and eliminate Revan before he can catch up to him.
I felt really good about that line. Got him! Revan and the party leave Anchorhead and then venture out into the Dune Sea. Seriously, Lucas, you named the largest expanse of sand on the planet Tatooine, the very same planet that is inspired by Arrakis, the Dune Sea. Not super clever. But also, Star Wars takes most of its inspo from Dune, so if you don't know that, we highly recommend the books and movies. Guys, that's like 3 book plugs so far. I don't like saying that. 3 introduction. Please read the books. Maybe
don't say book plug.
Just read books. Read book, please. Good. Do now. Revan is able to sneak into a Tusken encampment by acquiring off of some raiders some clothes from some raiders that didn't need them anymore. Let's just say that.
That's a little despicable. He's like, I'm going to camouflage myself, commit violence against them. They are going to think rightly so that someone broke into their home and act appropriately, but because you're one of the most powerful Jedi in the universe at this moment, they do not stand a chance. Nope. It's great. You're
absolutely
the hero.
Cooked. They called him Revan the Butcher for a reason. All right. Revan meets with the chieftain at this point because he walks up to the Enclave and the guard is like, dude, you're not a Tusken. He's like, yeah, you got me. HK intervenes at this point and is basically like, hey, I'll talk for these meatbags. It's fine. I got you guys. So Revan approaches the chieftain, who is actually responsive to Revan's search for peace, because in this playthrough, you technically are a good guy, even though you killed Tuskens to acquire the clothes that you're currently wearing, which is incredibly offensive in every culture ever. But the Tusken Raider's like, you're a pretty good fighter. We respect that. Can you get us some moisture evaporators? And he's like, you bet. I'm in. Right? He's like, yeah, of course I can do that. He's like, that's a lot easier than killing you all. The chieftain, basically, he's able to do this. This is super easy for Revan. A non-murdery task is the easiest thing he could possibly do. The chieftain then gifted Revan a Gadafiri. That's what it's called. It's not called the Gaffy Stick in the wiki for some reason. It's called a Gadafiri. I thought it was a Gaffy Stick. I don't know. That's just what it's called in the wiki. You guys can read it for yourself. And he basically tells him the location of the star map, which is inside a cave also inhabited by a Kryet dragon. Andrew, Kryet or Krayet?
I have always pronounced it crate. Let's look it up.
A crate dragon. See, I don't like that because then it just reminds me of just a boxy dragon.
Well, don't they say crate dragon in The Mandalorian?
It's not Krayet or Kryet?
There is not a pronunciation guide on the wiki.
That means there's no rules, folks. Andrew, go ahead and read us in.
Cool. Killing a crate dragon is no laughing matter. Upon finding the cave of the crate dragon, Revan and his party find a hunter outside of the cave named Fortuna, a Twi'lek looking to take down the beast. Obviously a reference to Bib Fortuna from Jabba's palace. This is going to be the second time that Revan uses meat traps. Unbelievable that you put that in there.
Got him.
Meat traps and explosives to take down a huge creature. Remember in last week's episode, we talked about how you filled a dead body full of pheromones and grenades and let a rancor eat it.
Andrew, we do like to be accurate with our language. You desecrated a corpse to kill a giant monster.
technically, I put some incendiary grenades in that corpse, so really I cremated it.
It was actually super respectful in honoring the dead. We know that from watching The Mandalorian that the retroactive lore of the Krayt Dragon is that they can vomit acid, burrow underground, and smash pretty much anything in their way.
I actually really enjoyed that they added the acid breathing part, because they're like, why do they call it a dragon? And then he vomits acid everywhere, and you're like, nope, I get it now. Thank you. Question answered. To avoid this, Revan straps a bunch of mines onto some banthas and leads them in front of the cave. So this is meat trap number 3, if you guys are keeping count.
Meat trap number 2. The Rancor, then the Krayt Dragon.
Oh, Fortuna was not meat trap number 2?
No, he was proposing the meat trap number 2.
Gotcha. So the big episode 1...
We don't meat trap with sentient alive creatures, brother.
We could. I mean, Revan seems like the kind of person who would.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you approve of that, because I'm like, wow, what a hot take. Here on the podcast, Andrew, I think we should load living people up with explosives.
No.
Welcome to being on the FBI watch list. Ding.
Yeah, no, that's... hate that. Really hate that. So... I lost my place. Revan had to lure banthas away from a herd guarded by a different tribe of sand people and had to fight them off, i.e. unalived them. This is only slightly ironic considering 5 minutes ago Revan had just made peace with a different tribe. This is why they call him Revan the Butcher. The banthas are successfully lured in front of the cave mouth. The dragon comes through and absolutely guzzles them up and experiences some explosive indigestion.
After killing the dragon and finding the pearl, super cool lightsaber crystal, by the way, Revan finds the star map and has another piece of the puzzle to find the Star Forge. Now, keep in mind, they are super far back in this cave right now, so the implication of the game is that you enter the cave, Fortuna leaves, because he's like, hey, you killed the dragon, like, I'm going to do what I need to do to prove that I killed it. He's just a hunter. Again, we're not going to talk about the ethics of killing a species that probably only has a dozen of them alive. But you basically take your spoils, which is the pearl, which canonically I don't know if that actually works as a lightsaber crystal, but in the game it works as a lightsaber crystal. Super neat. You're supposed to be back there for a very long time. So when you come back out, things start to happen. So Revan finds the star map, has another piece of the puzzle, moving on to the Star Forge. How cool would it be is if in The Mandalorian, the Darksaber was somehow damaged and then Din had to repair it using a portion of a Krayt Dragon pearl? So cool. I know it's a silly and inconsequential. That felt really bad, especially since we talked in our Patreon episode about media literacy, and being able to read kind of sucks sometimes. It would be very cool. Let's leave it at that.
Lightsabers in KOTOR operated differently from how we understand lightsabers now. In the general world of Star Wars, the lightsaber crystal is a singular element that powers the lightsaber and provides its color. In the old canon, which is now known as Legends, the crystal was set as a designated color, usually blue or green being the most common, orange, yellow, and purple being a little bit more rare, and then colors like white and black being like almost legendary status. Red crystals were actually synthetic, created by Sith sorcery, and essentially made the lightsaber more powerful. Again, that's Legends. Now we get more expansive and personal lore behind their crystals, where the color of the crystal is more to do with the individuals who bonded with it, and not some power scale thing based on its color. The fact that in Legends certain colors were stronger than others, if I'm being honest, made no sense, because that bit of lore never made its way onto the screen even before the Disney days. It was essentially something that was mentioned in the books and then never made its way into hardly anything, like as far as being on screen. So I think it's best that as a matter of power scaling, all colors being equal makes the most sense. Like, I think that's a little bit too nitpicky to be like, actually my lightsaber is red, so therefore it's more powerful. Hello, princess. I have a red lightsaber color, which makes me extremely powerful.
Folks, we're going to have to end the podcast there, unfortunately. That's it for today's episode. No, we'll talk more about lightsabers because you guys are all crazy for it, and we love it too. And
they're so cool.
Knights of the Old Republic, crystals absolutely have an impact on the wielder's power level. Not only were there different colors, but each lightsaber had 2 additional crystal slots to change the behavior of that saber to deal more damage, apply damage over time, and allow the wielder to deflect blaster bolts with more ease. Each of these crystals has to be installed at a workbench scattered around various worlds or on the Ebon Hawk. Most notably, the cave you just found the star map does not have a workbench, because it would have been nice to upgrade your saber for this next part. What? Upon exiting the cave, Revan and company encounter Calo Nord. I think we mentioned him in the previous episode. We should have mentioned him in the previous episode. He is a bounty humper.
What?
No. What? Oh, man.
Someone cancel this man.
Upon exiting the cave, Revan and company encounter, I'm super scared to say words now, Calo Nord, a bounty hunter that was previously in the employ of Davik King, the previous owner of the Ebon Hawk. However, the rules of finders keepers still apply here. However, Nord didn't want the ship. He wanted Revan dead for his own pride and honor and for a job set by Malak. Nord is officially on the Sith payroll.
Revan and his allies do end up defeating Nord and all of his thugs. This is another really fun skill check in the game that shows up, but instead of being a persuasion check like you see with Juhani, it's a pure combat check. Calo Nord is incredibly difficult to defeat, and even though he is a ranged enemy, he dishes out tons of damage. For the folks who played KOTOR back in the day, first off, how's your back? Are you stretching enough? Second, did any of you manage to make a blaster build that you could take through the entire game? By today's standards, KOTOR was not very well balanced. Between all of my playthroughs, they basically looked the same. I would run in like a barbarian, and that was like the best method. It felt like a melee lightsaber build was the way to go. Like, it just made sense. It felt like blasters had a much higher chance at missing than lightsabers, which makes sense. If you're within melee range, it's really hard to miss somebody with a sword. If you're at range, using a blaster takes a lot more skill and discipline to stay on target. And this showed up in the game. I mean, for you, did you ever make a ranged build?
Not for the entire game. I found it really, really hard. And part of the game mechanics, again, operate like D&D. Your character would move then attack in the same turn. So you'd be standing there, blasters akimbo, firing at the final boss, Malak. You guys should all know that that's the main storyline, but this game's been out forever, spoilers. And you would fire, blah, 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 blah. And then he would run at you while your character's just like standing there like an NPC, and he would hack, and you're like, well, I'm in melee range now. I'm going to shoot at him still. It's going to be less effective because I'm pretty sure there was a penalty for shooting within melee range. At least that's what it felt like.
I think you're right.
And then you're like, well, he doesn't have to, like, I have to get a certain number of feet away for me to engage a turn, be able to shoot him, and still stay disengaged with him. It doesn't work. It was just like, hey, man, I'm going to put mines at the entrance of this boss fight. I'm going to run back. I'm going to take some pot shots at you, and I'm going to try to kill you in one fell swoop. So here we go.
Like I said before, a really fun game, but it really wasn't balanced very well. And I was pretty young and not good at D&D, and didn't have the patience to read through. I probably could have built something that would legitimately defeat Malak, but I never did. I almost always did the mine cheese, and that's how I beat him, because I spec'd into demolitions the entire game, acquired a criminal amount of lethal frag mines, and won.
You want to commit a war crime?
Okay, actually I had one other note. So, how did the Jedi Council on Tatooine not know that there was a star map right, like, a mile away?
Because it was sealed. Like, it was in the tomb, which was surrounded by dark side energy, and they were like, no, we don't go there. And Revan was like, dude, the dark side is where all the fun's at. And Malak specifically says, like, we're going to get kicked out of the Order if we go and investigate this. So when they go in his dream sequence, they're essentially, that's their first step to the dark side. They're like, yeah, we don't need to do this. Which, at that point, okay, track with me here. Revan is in his Sith getup in that vision. And if he came back looking for the star map, he's already defected at this point. He has already met the Emperor. He has already become unindoctrinated from the Emperor. and is now on his own. He's still just Sith at this point.
Correct. His memory basically got wiped, so he doesn't have any memory of the Emperor, but he does have essentially a taste for the dark side now, and that is what is driving him.
So why would Malik say we're going to get kicked out of the Order for doing this?
Right, because they're already not part of the Order anymore.
Unless the Order doesn't know that they're Sith at this point, but also it doesn't matter if they don't know you're Sith. You guys basically crusaded across a corner of the galaxy when you came back from Nowhere Land.
Hold on, wait a minute. Are we going to take this 25-year-old game and punch holes in the plot? That doesn't seem very fair. No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. It doesn't make any sense. But, like, the Jedi are supposed to be the protectors of the galaxy, and if there is a nexus of force energy literally right outside one of their main outposts, I feel like it would be their sworn duty to go investigate it and purify whatever is happening there. I feel like that would be their number one concern, is going into that cave, putting on their big boy pants, and clearing out whatever was causing it. Like,
absolutely.
You can't just leave.
You would think a group of multi-classed paladin wizards would be able to have some sort of 5th level spell that they would be able to cast on them. I'm like, you bunch of virgins, get in there and exercise your magical powers and cleanse the objective. Like, how hard is that?
But they're cowards. They were afraid.
I hope somebody gets mad at me for calling them paladin wizard virgins. So,
based on a lot of the comments we've got in the last week, did you see that our YouTube numbers got a huge spike this week?
Because people have the worst takes on social media. Like, the absolute worst. There's so many people who are like, Ahsoka actually wouldn't have, won that fight against Maul unless if it was for plot armor. And I'm like, oh my god, is that why they wrote it into the plot then?
Yeah,
wow.
It's like they're not writing these episodes by rolling dice.
They're like, well, Maul actually would have won. She was, pretty winded after that fight. And I'm like, okay, gentlemen, sir and or lady, please sit down and take a deep breath.
Listen up, virgins.
Because you've obviously never done anything athletic in your entire life. Let me tell you what, as linemen, and Andrew, you have some wrestling experience actually, is grappling with somebody an exhaustive activity?
It's so freaking hard, dude.
Yeah. So even though
difficult,
she kicks him, and I'm sorry for the swear here, so I'm going to prompt you so you can bleep this. She kicks him out the motherfucking window, and people were like, "She actually lost the fight," and I'm like, "Your take is bad. It's in the video we made. The proof is right there." And they're like, "Nope, she's bad. She bad. Ahsoka bad at fighting. She bad. Winded, out of shape, not an athlete. Wow."
And they're only saying that because Ahsoka is a woman.
Oh, 100%.
They're like, we're not going to give props to a woman. It's like, you guys need to really relax. We honestly could do an entire comedic series on teaching Star Wars fans. I should say teaching dickhead Star Wars fans how to talk to women.
Some of you are the worst.
Some of you are the worst.
But statistically, you'll never make it this far in the episode, so you'll never find
So we can say whatever we want. It's like, y'all aren't watching this.
Yeah. I should have said at the top of the episode, because this is bad YouTube manners. Comment, subscribe if you haven't already. We've been doing this for 35 minutes already. That will get cut down a little bit because I may or may not have said some things that need cutting. That's up to our editor-in-chief over there drinking from an empty glass. So, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. If you have anything to say and you really want to support the podcast, guys, join our Discord, join our Patreon. It's $5 a month. It's literally less than a Starbucks coffee, and it helps us do cool things, all the fun stuff. Also, is this backwards?
Sick. No, it looks straight to me.
Okay, cool. It's backwards on my screen. So this is our Hello There sticker. I'm going to put the rest of these on our Etsy shop, but I'm going to mail them out to our patrons because our patrons are cool. Anyone who asked for it, I'm going to do a last call. If people don't want them, I'm not going to use the postage. But that's where we're at. I'm like, we got cool stuff. I literally have some stuff in my cart I need to buy. I just haven't done it yet because I've made a lot of purchases this week, and spending money stresses me out. So that's why you should support the podcast. But if you don't, make sure you guys interact with all of our social media stuff. Guys, we're so close to 1,000 followers on YouTube. We're less than 50 away. Less than 50. We've been doing this for 3 years almost.
Get on it.
Get on it. Please. We love you all. Do all the things. May the Force be with you. See you guys in the next one.